All right, what's going on, CH family? Today we're going to talk about how to break your stress eating pattern. Okay, it's three very, very simple steps on how to break this. Now, if you like it, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's jump into today's training. So, how do we break our stress eating pattern? So, we'll go through a live case study, and I'm going to share with you guys exactly what I would recommend and suggest to do. And what you're going to find is that it's actually a lot more simpler than you think. We just need consistency and the right strategy set behind it. So, this is a strategy I learned over the years, and this is called, I call it the RRR method. And all you do is there's three main steps to it. You reflect, you replace, and you reinforce. You reflect, you replace, you reinforce. Three main steps on how to break your stress eating patterns. It can help if you have sugar cravings, any kind of cravings or stress eating, anything like that that you find is a bad pattern you got going on with your food habits. This three-step method here, it works tremendously well. Okay, so three steps, RRR method: reflect, replace, reinforce. Okay, so how it works, number one, is we want to reflect. We can't change a problem. We can't solve a problem if we don't know what the problem is, right? So we got to know exactly what's going on. So this is why you want to reflect on your situation. Okay, so when am I stress eating? Okay, why does it happen? Right? What's causing stress in my life? What's going on there? When does it happen? Is there a pattern to it? What's going on? What am I doing? And then where is it happening? Is it happening at home? Is it happening on the way home from work? And what am I doing in the moment? Like, what do I end up doing? What's the pattern? Okay, so that's the key when you reflect, is you want to find the pattern of what's going on when it comes to your situation. That's how we can solve it, right? Once we know the pattern, then we just need to interrupt the pattern. And that's when number two comes into play, and this is replace. Okay, so replace is essentially, let's say, let's say when we reflect, so let's say we watch ourselves for 7 days straight, and we reflect back on that whole week, and we find a pattern. So let's say, we get done work. After work, when we get home, as soon as we get home is when we sit on the couch and we start stress eating. Okay, so we grab the chips, we grab the unhealthy food, we grab the peanut butter, whatever it may be, and we start just munching. Okay, so that's when we reflect. So that's what we figure out. Okay, so why does it happen? Let's say the stress eating is happening because we are having a hard time controlling our stress during work. Okay, so let's say work is very, very stressful, and maybe, family situation, something like that's popping up. That's what's going on. Okay, so that's why it's happened. When does it happen? After work, as soon as we step in the door. Okay, what are we doing? We're eating too much chips, we're grabbing the carbs, we're eating unhealthy food. Okay, how does it make us feel? Not good, right? We don't want it to happen. We feel guilty after. We end up emotionally eating more. It just causes a ripple effect. Okay, that's reflect. So now we got to replace. Okay, so we got to replace the pattern. Okay, if you want to change the wiring in your brain, right? If you want to change your habits, you need to consistently interrupt that pattern that your brain already has, right? We are creatures of habit. We live our lives based off our habits, because if we didn't have habits, we'd be using so much energy to do all of our functions, right? Like breathing, for example. Breathing is just a habit. It's just a normal thing we do. Imagine if you always had to think about, like, okay, I got to breathe right now as I talk. You'll have no energy left over. So we create habits because, number one, it's safe, because we've done it so many times. So it's safe for us. And as people, we want to be safe and secure. And number two is to conserve energy, right? It's just a pattern. It's just automatic. So if we want to break this pattern, it's like learning any kind of skill, right? We need to interrupt the pattern, and we need to consistently do it over and over and over until the pattern changes. So same thing, like if you're trying to learn how to ride a bike, at first, you're not going to be able to do it your first day. But the more and more and more and more and more you try it, eventually your brain's going to be like, well, I'm sick and tired of messing up. Let's just learn this skill. And then you're going to learn the skill. Of course, your brain doesn't actually say that. That's just an example. And then you learn it, though, over time, right? So that's what we got to do, is we got to replace the pattern. Okay. So ultimately, we know that when we get home, we're stress eating. Okay, so what do we do here? How do we replace this pattern? Well, the first things I would suggest here is, instead, before you even get home after work, go for a walk, have a protein shake, something simple like that, or go work out after work. Why do I say this? Because after work, if you go move your body, one of my old mentors, Dan Martell, would always say, exhaust the body so you can tame your mind. Such a life-changing quote, right? Exhaust your body so you can tame your mind. What that basically means is when you work out, when you get rid of that energy, right? Get rid of that stress, your mind's going to be a lot more tamed, a lot more in the present moment and in more control. Okay. So that's what I would suggest is before you even get home, go for a walk or go to the gym. And then after you're done that, have a protein shake. Why do that? So that way you're at least a little bit full. So when you do get home, you're not starving to death and instantly grabbing the carbs, right? Because when we get hungry, we automatically want the carbs. So that's what I would suggest there. Interrupt that pattern there, change it up, get consistent with that. Or when you do get home, right, instead of going home, you can do some meditation when you get home, go to the gym, go for a walk, anything that's going to interrupt this consistent pattern of just going straight home and then stress eating, right? Interrupt pattern. And then what you want to do is you just got to stay very consistent with it. And you just got to win more than you lose, which means sometimes, we got to be realistic. Sometimes you're going to give into the stress eating. Sometimes it's going to happen. You won't be able to avoid it. That's okay. You just got to get back on track the next day and stop beating yourself up and quitting, because that's where we go wrong, right? It's like, oh, I'm not perfect, so screw it. I'm just going to give up. But instead, you got to just get back on track and keep going, because what's the point in quitting? Right? If we quit, we go back to old ways and we get exactly what we don't want. So this is why we need to just get back on track, be accountable, but stop beating yourself up over it. Okay? Because you're gonna mess up, right? When it comes to any kind of skill, anything that we're new at, we're gonna suck at first. It's just natural, but we got to stay consistent and we'll get better at it. So that's what I would suggest you do there. And the mindset behind it. And then just stay consistent. Once you interrupt that pattern and you have a new routine in place and you just do it over and over and over again, make it robotic, by the way, very simple, just robotic. And you do it over and over and over again, eventually you're going to break the actual pattern that's going on. Okay. And then you're set. And then when you do break the pattern, right, the last step here is reinforce. What I mean by that is, Yes. Reflect, replace the pattern, and reinforce it. So an easy way to reinforce is, again, staying consistent, but also reward yourself. Let's say you go a month without the stress eating, you go a whole week if you've been really strong with it every day, and you're staying consistent. Reward yourself. Okay, get a gym pair, a pair of shoes for the gym or a gym outfit. Don't go like do something that's going to sabotage your progress, right? Like go get a pizza or something like that. Like say that for different days, but do something that's going to reward it. So that way you're reinforcing of like, okay, this is positive, this is good. I feel good when I do this. I want to keep doing it. Because remember, positive actions crave positive actions. Okay. That's training for today, guys. That's exactly how I would do this if I were you. But the 3-step, our method, okay? Reflect, replace, reinforce. If you find this was helpful for you, make sure you like and subscribe. And then also, if you have any questions, you can comment down below in the training as well. And if you guys need more help, or if you have any more personal questions for me, message me on Instagram at coach.hayward, and I'm always available there. But I hope this training helped you out. And if it did, leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next training.